At the Cannabis Life Conference, we're with Dan Stein, a criminal lawyer at Simcoe Chambers in Toronto. Dan, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
So what is the fine line between legal cannabis and illegal cannabis? What can you tell us from a lawyer perspective?
Well, so right now we have both a situation where cannabis can be legal or illegal. If it's prescribed and licensed, then it's legal cannabis. If it's not, then it's illegal. There's definitely a black and white line right now, and until legalization happens, you have to have a license to consume or possess, or obviously to distribute cannabis.
Right, so how are we policing this? What's happening here in Toronto and across Canada in terms of criminalizing those who are using it versus not criminalizing those who are using it?
Well, I guess you have to look at it from both an investigatory point of view and a prosecutorial point of view. So from an investigatory point of view, what I'm talking about is it worthwhile to the police to investigate and charge every single person who may or may not be in possession or consuming or even distributing illicit cannabis? Right. So that's a question of priorities. But it's also a question of figuring out which is legal and which is illegal. Because, let's say, for example, someone's walking down the street smoking a joint of cannabis. From a police point of view, you have no idea whether that person is a medical user or a recreational user. So from a police point of view, it really makes no sense to stop that person because you have no grounds to do so. And if he or she turns out to be consuming recreationally, then from a police point of view that whatever charges you may lay may get thrown out of court because you didn't have any grounds to stop that person.
Right. From an investor point of view, though, can you provide some insight into why or why not you should be investing in the cannabis industry?
Well, I think for existing LPs, they've got an obvious leg up in the market. They're already in the market, and when recreational cannabis is legalized, they will already have a demographic that they're marketing to, and they'll already be inserted into the market. Come 2018 or 2019, there may be $1 billion to, I'm not sure what the cap is recreationally wise, then those who are already in the market selling and don't have any ramp up time and don't have any setup costs to get into that market because no one else can right now, they would, it's like to a certain degree there's a bit of a monopoly or an oligopoly, and that would, I guess, be attractive if you're trying to capitalize on what's going to be legal.
And I know that access to medical purposes regulations is changing since last year especially. What is next for medical users of cannabis?
I think what's next is for the government to act on edibles. Because they've been told it's been almost 2 years now that medicinal users of cannabis have to have access to edibles. And they haven't really acted on that. You can make your own edibles, you can buy cannabis oil, and you can make your own food. But what if you're ill and you cannot make your own food? Then you have to buy from someone who makes for you. And right now there's no process in place for that. LPs are not allowed to distribute cookies or any other edible products. So, that's a gray area in and of itself. If you were charged with distributing edibles to a medicinal market, I would imagine those charges would go away because of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. But that is something that has to be acted upon both federally and provincially in terms of coming out with regulations once legal marijuana comes into place.
Right. Now, you've been a lawyer in this space for years,
yes.
And lately it's been pretty exciting. It's an exciting time for the industry. What is it like seeing so much change happening so fast?
From a criminal defense point of view, it's fascinating to see how many dispensaries that are really targeting the recreational market still being allowed to operate, right, because the police don't necessarily have the means to go out and arrest every single person and bust every single dispensary. So I think criminal lawyers are seeing that the prohibition house of cards, so to speak, is kind of crumbling slowly with less incentive on behalf of federal crowns to prosecute these charges, but it still hasn't totally happened. We're still in the age of prohibition, and cultivation is still illegal, distribution is still illegal, and people are still being arrested for that. So you can see a bit of change coming, but ultimately
we're still getting there.
All right.
Well, Dan, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you.